Yo, yo, what's crack-a-lackin'? How we doing? How we doing? How you doing? El Jefe! What's going on? I haven't looked at literally almost anything from today. I'm just kind of, I'll do my little catch up and recap here. I can do a few trade reviews. Um, IBRX kind of ticked me off today. This this almost never holds up in the pattern, and usually you get this little early pre-market blow off, and you get a nice VWAP seller. And nice. I traded EVOC and scalped IBRX. Nice. Yeah, I was short pre-market. It started perking up there where I wanted to see this pop into VWAP just fizzle off. And once it started VWAP reclaim, I moved on. Small loss. Reacted to the morning shove. Cut it through 6. Saw the exhaust through 6. These are all like, I don't know, maybe I'm not using size on this. Like, I'm seeing if I can hit the top and then scale into a winner. So I took the approach of just trying it a bunch of times instead of like shorting at 6 and risking like prior day's highs or something. Risk like $1.50 and short at 6. So I was just gonna try it a bunch of times and risk the high a day on each of those. So it would just be paper cut, paper cut, paper cut instead of a full size loss. Was the approach I took. This was the first scale opportunity here where you get this little blowout, hard crack, and then failed fall through under 630s. So I started to scale in looking for VWAP, and it swiped right back, so I covered the next dip. It wasn't re-breaking out on highs. I put some more on, stopped out rest of that position. Then you get this high a day clear out, and then a little head and shoulders action looking left off the 650s. So I add and I scale back in, and at this point I just set a stop through 650s and was going to let the trade work. I got off desk and just let the stop, and they ran that stop right here right through 650s, and that was literally the high before it trickled back off. So this one was just overall a loser today. I couldn't get anything working on it. Typically it's a lot easier, quieter fade, but didn't happen. IONQ, same kind of setup that we had on Oklo, where you get that weakness right off the open into a bigger picture rising support. So I had seen these wicks, so I joined that versus low a day, and I was just one low a day too early. And so it stopped me out right there, dead bottom, before grinding all the way back. This was a short trade. It looked like it was going to break this higher low trend line. But then by about 10:50 I was off desk, so I missed the 80 cent a share move there. Right idea, and just wasn't around for it. So those are the frustrations of the day. And then GNPX worked like a charm. Put it on right here through a 5-minute consolidation break and risked the consolidation lows. I set a stop and left for the day, and this thing hit 3. And then I came back here in after hours, so locked it in the 270s, 260s. But nice little first green day there. So this makes up for all the losses and then some. But that's the way risk reward works when you get setups like that. 3 would have been a lot nicer. Another 30 cents on this share size would have made a difference. But anyways, those are the trades today. DJT starting to get a lot more interesting. Unfortunately, we had that little day that shook me out of that long trade because I was trailing it on prior bar lows. Would have been a lot nicer to be holding this into 50. But we do have some speed up, range expansion, and volume starting to blow out a little bit. So that's starting to get a lot more interesting. If I can get a gap up tomorrow, a big enough gap, something like, I believe Nate posted it this morning. What day was that from? March 25th. Where it gapped. After hours was at like 50, and then the next day was up at 80 by market open. Let me see here. This one. Right here, 50, and then get that massive gap up and blowout. That would be A+. If we could get a big blowout through 60 or something. Nice gapper. Fun, not really joining yet. It's not joining in on the fun. I don't need this trend line anymore. Come on. There we go. They had something come out today. Their equity line was terminated in after hours. The termination of its purchase agreement with Lincoln Park, effective on October 25th. Had the right to sell up to $30 million in common stock, but it only sold 164K shares, which was just under $1 million. And then they terminated the agreement. So But when Fun had like this massive pullback day, that was on DJT still making highs. So I'm thinking if we get a blowout and DJT actually starts to fail, given that Fun has relative weakness, I expect this to be even weaker. So it could be a nice trend join. But DJT is definitely starting to come into the wheelhouse. IONQ continues higher. So this one is just the higher it goes, the better. It's a lot choppier of a daily, so not really A+ for me personally. Lightbridge rebroke out today. That's wild. Let's see what El Jefe traded on EVOC today. Day 1 got smoked. Jeez. Look at that. High a day was the opening print and never saw higher. That's insane. What was that other one today? I think it started with an H or something. HCTI. Hecty. It went sideways. Squeeze. was I? Yeah, El Jefe said interested in IBRX tomorrow. I don't see why not. Like the 4 EMA is still sitting right around $5, and if this breaks back below like 6 again, that was the level I was trying to play off of today, and it looked. Sorry, just dealing with some things. But yeah, this still does interest me. Like I was looking for pops to fail off of 6, and dips were kind of holding off of 6. Um, so as long as um, so as long as pops fail off of 6, I think now you just have 2 days of bag holders stuck. And using the 4 EMA, it's on my other chart here, but the 4 EMA is sitting right around 506, 507 right now, which is right down in here. So if pops are failing verse 6, then it would be red on the day and have 2 days worth of bag holders underwater. Um, so I think that would. Let me do some. Sorry, I'm just dealing with some business stuff. Give me a second. So like I typically like these overextension backside moves when they're red on the day. I feel like that favors shorts a bit more. This is a super fun stream, hey? I hopped on thinking I was finished for the day. I still got guys asking me questions. So where were we? I'll stay off my phone for a little bit here. They can wait. So, back to IVRX, as LF and I were talking about. Um, Typically, as it's going higher, I like to see a speed up in volume, but this one didn't really go much higher. It's more of an inside day. So yeah, basically once it's red and pops are actually failing off a 6, and then it'll be red on the day. You'll have 2 days of overhead resistance and still room back to the downside. So I will have that one on watch again tomorrow. DJT I'll have on watch, ideally gap up parabolic. GNPX, I'm not taking this one off radar. I had noted the action here. Nate had some good commentary in the room on the front side. I believe he was long this for a gapper, and basically noting just the trappy action and stuff on the front side. And now that it's holding this base in the 180s, if this can... So now it's pushed, pulled, and now this is inside this range, the bigger range of like 4 to 180. So now this is a lower high and a higher low. So if it breaks below 180s, then I'm no longer looking for bigger picture. But as long as dips start to hold versus 180s, then I like that for a potential 4 breakout down the road. But right now, this is a bounce. Like big picture wise, this is still a bounce along the front side until 180s gives up. ARBB inside day, TVGN, not looking bad. Liquidity drying up, looking like possible liquidity trap. Looking left, like a 3 break. I like that for a trend join higher. You had that big flush off midday here, right into looking left. That line was drawn from this prior breakout day, so resistance is becoming support. So same kind of thing, as long as 240s continues to hold over under, I like that for a 3 break. Now let's run some scans. Glue percent gainer. GNLN looks like it gave it back by end of day. Weak. Glue. Man, that would have been nice if it didn't run out of time. You had that big fail fall through setup, 250 or 1050s. What else we got here? GNPX, it just looks like such an ideal daily chart to me. Kang, too bad that doesn't have some more volume. It's starting to look better. SGMO, damn. Look at that, right through. Wow. Well, that's lovely. It's stuff like this where being off desk after the morning does hurt. I'm just not around to see stuff like this. I don't even know if I really would have traded it because it was just like a steady grind, and I have such a hard time joining steady highs because there's no like consolidation or risk. You would have had to trust this 170s break and risk like low a day. So you would have had to risk 20 cents and you're only up. So right here is a 2-to-1, not bad. But I will throw that on a list just because it's a nice daily chart. Wow, CRMD, that's starting to look like IONQ. Ideally get some speed up for a trend shift. HRYU gave back a bit too much for me into close. Did you try the long on GNPX on Friday? If so, just same thesis for it today. Believe I did on Friday. I think. Let me see. I need to look at the action. Yeah. Yeah, I traded it because the prior close was 214. I basically bought the top on it in the morning. We got this opening range high a day break right here. So I bought it through 211 with 214 being the red to green move. It goes green for a couple cents, and I was risking low a day off of $2. So I basically bought the high a day and then got stopped out on the lows. I saw it back over here, but once I'm buying 2 and now risking 180, that's 20 cents a risk. And when I'm looking for a move like this, I'm only going to be getting 2-to-1 anyways. So the risk reward just wasn't tight enough for me. So I took my loss on it on the morning with the exact same thesis, like you said, looking for that backside bounce. First time it's going green in 1, 2, 3 days. And then today had a press release this morning, which is why it put it on my radar. I think it was right before the open, I believe. Yeah, 9/29. Positive preclinical data. It was like a nothing burger in terms of like as far as news goes, but it brought in some attention. And then what was different on it today versus other days is there wasn't a lack of liquidity. If I go to something like this, you can see volumes just abysmal. Like once you get that move, that was the thing, is I saw volume coming in, so it looked like it was changing its trend. And then as it's making new lows, it's just got no volume whatsoever. But what was different on it today was once market opened, volume was sustained. So once I bought this little volume perk through this consolidation range, and I just set a stop and let it work. And then once volume started to pick up, trend started picking up. If I was on desk, I likely get a scale trade here and move risk up to like 190s. But that wasn't the fact of the matter. But yes, same idea. Good call on GNPX. Thank you. Luke is a new follower. Do you follow a tier trading strategy? So the daily, are you looking for a break of key major resistance? El Jefe, nice trade. That makes sense. Thank you. I do not know what a tier trading strategy is, so I'd say no. And the daily, you're looking for a break of key major resistance level first. For breakouts, yes. For a trade like GNPX, not really. This was more buying into, this was like an intraday trend break on a bigger picture dip near support. It wasn't really a break of key resistance. A break of key resistance would be a break of $4. And then yes, I'd be looking for a breakout through that key level. Okay, let me run some scans, see what's up. Let me know any tickers. Some of you guys are regulars. You kind of know my chart patterns I like to trade. If you see anything, let me know. SOUN. Interesting. Quite the base that thing's putting in. Sound Hound. Big overhead resistance. I don't see this getting very far, but if it gets back up to 750, like if it goes from 5, tomorrow goes from 6 to 750, I'd like to short that parabolic, being key resistance. Myra, what's that one? Multi-day runner. See, this doesn't look like a whole lot, but it's gone from $1 to $2, 100% move with some blow-off volume into overhead resistance. This is kind of a similar setup to IBRX. I wish that wasn't all after hours. I'm going to throw this on a list, but it's not as nice as the daily chart is making it look. The way that it got here isn't as nice. Any recent reverse splits on watch? No, I haven't really been trading reverse splits for probably since like 2019, 2020. That's when that setup kind of stopped working. Serve as well. Nice. Serve. Was this the one with the, was it the NVIDIA news? Way back when. Can't remember. Yeah, it was. Okay. Yeah, they're the same kind of daily charts, pushing up into prior resistance. And the volume's not high enough for it to overtake it, so definitely notable, but I'd prefer a straight up daily move into looking left levels. That'd be a lot more interesting. Save, this thing's not going away. This is one of those ones where the volume starts coming in near the lows. So it looks like a super beat down chart, but there's no volume in that sell side. So these people are all shorting into lows. And then in 3 days, it's back up near like 6-month highs. Rumble, that one's moving with DJT. Probably not the worst watch in the world. This is probably one of those ones that, so like this day, 1023, I believe was the day. 1023, oh, that was fun sideways day. Interesting. 1024 was the fun pullback day. But now this one going up from 550s to 650s. Decent range for this name, like relative speaking. But, yeah, could be a sympathy watch with DJT, just a quieter idea. You can see it's good at trending. Building a watch list for the day. Steps, question mark. Are you prioritizing stocks with a fundamental catalyst first? Rumble could go with the election. Yeah, I could see Rumble going. It looks like it's moving with DJT, like a bit better now that DJT has more attention. But this would be something that if you could get it to continue for another day or two, this would be a nice quieter idea that most people wouldn't have on radar, where everybody's watching DJT. And this one might be a bit of an easier trade for the same idea. Are you prioritizing stock with a fundamental catalyst first? No. It's technicals first for me, and then basically seeing why it's moved. If you're looking for stocks with fundamental catalysts, I think you'll be disappointed more times than not, trying to pick the ones that are going to move, where if you just react to the ones that are already moving and then try and figure out why and put some sort of thesis behind it, I think it's a lot more profitable, in my opinion. Example, glue today. Yeah, I didn't even trade glue today. I don't know why it's up. I didn't watch it. I don't really trade day ones right now. Let's see. Announces global license agreement with Novartis to advance TNB cell modulating VAV1 directed molecular glue degraders. Whatever that means. Just by reading that, tell me if it's positive or negative. I have no idea. But if I look at the chart, I can tell you that news was interpreted as positive, and I don't even have to know what that press release meant. So I think it's a lot easier that way. LTBR really hurt my feelings. It went to 10. Yeah, my goal on that watch list was shoves into sevens. There was no way I was going to be sticking around all the way to here from that 570s bounce. 7 was a great trade. I did not think it was going at 10. No chance. I took it for that yeah, I think that's a great trade. Hell of a trade. I think you traded that perfectly, in my opinion. But for every one that runs to 10, you're going to have another 6 that are going to push into that 7 move, and they're going to fade right back to your entry. For entries above support, I don't know what you're talking about, Luke. Please specify. Gevo. This looks like a little daily failed follow-through setup. You might get a gap fill back down. This kind of interests me, because what I see on the daily is something like this. So if I can get what it hasn't done in 4 days is break its prior bar lows. So if that takes out to 290. Yeah, if it can take out this 290 2-day consolidation lows, I'd look for a quiet fader potential here. I think this could gap fill back down. You got a bunch of overhead here. Every push into 3 gets met with some selling pressure. And then you've got this liquidity pocket back down to the 2s. I definitely throw this on watch. Possible little swing short idea. I want to trade probability, not possibility. Beautiful base hunter. I'm going to get that tattooed on my forehead. I love that. I haven't heard that before, but I like it. When you're looking for entries, are you buying above support? Or if I don't use fib levels, are you buying above support? Yes. Usually, if something has broken support, I'd be looking to short pops back into that level to become resistance. Man, can't believe I missed SGMO. That one sucks. TVGN, that looks good. DJT, that's starting to look good. Speeding up. Oklo broke out today. Looking left through 23-ish. Held as support throughout late day. Did SMR join it? Yep. SMR broke out. NNE. NNE is a laggard. So it looks like SMR and OKLO are the better of the two. Better of the three, I should say. The two better of the three. But nice little breakouts there. I was asked in this area with the sector move why I wasn't looking to get long, and it was just at the point in its daily life cycle that I was waiting for more information. It was speeding up, so I was looking for the pullback trade, which we got. Mostly OKLO into here, where it's just going straight up, which we got the pullback trade. And this breakout is typically the next point in the move that I'm looking to trade. The high of 22.93. Right there. What else we got? RGTI, little mini breakout. Meh, not very volatile. Do you trade on particular time frame? Election is already priced into markets, it looks like. I think that's speculation being priced in. I have no idea. Like I say, I think it's just easier to react. If you're getting like parabolic, I wouldn't say it's priced in. I think, let me see here. It was... I think like a lot of the stocks are moving as like election sympathies, something like DJT and RUM and Bitcoin and something like Master, all those kinds of things. But I wouldn't necessarily say it's priced in. I'd say people are trading off of the election coming up. And then do you trade a particular time frame? Kinda. I trade off of like usually the 1, 2, or 5 minute intraday, but I use like a top down approach where I look at the daily for a chart pattern to gauge my bias, and then I go down to something like a 15, 30, or a 60 intradaily, get like a multi-day view, but intraday, to kind of get a picture of the trend. and then I use the intraday on how to trade it. So it's like daily, get a bias, intradaily, see the trend, intraday, how to trade it. That's how I do it. I don't scalp. I day trade or swing trade. Like something like GNPX today. Buy it here and sell it here. Something like DJT. I bought it right here and sold it up here for like 3 days. So it's usually like a few hours to a few days. But I'm not trying to be in and out every minute or something. That's too much work. When you can just get on the side of the trend and let the trade do the work. You see those oil and gas names today? They got smoked this morning. We were looking at them last night up in the sixes. And I was like, oh, that could be a short into resistance play and then maybe consolidate for a few days and build back. And it opens at $4. Talk about chasers. Like, look at that. That's gnarly. They got crushed. Yeah. Yeah, Husa too, and then T-Pet with it. They all got smoked. Made me laugh. That's exactly why you don't chase. That's why not all breakouts are created equal. You got a 660 breakout, you get a 660 break, but it went straight up into it. No way I'm long in that. And they've had the same news put out over and over and over again. It's ended in the same way. The Middle East tensions haven't subsided. They just fizzle out. A bomb gets let off and then the thing goes nuts and then it just fizzles out. It's the same catalyst. Nothing's changing. Okay, that's all the scans for now. Quantum sector. I don't like the work breakout. I prefer momentum breakout. Okay. Quantum sector thoughts. IO&Q. Yeah, I kind of touched on that briefly. It's a bit choppier of a multi-day run. So it's not really A+, but I'd put this in like a C+ to B range. And ideally, this starts to speed up. Like when I get stocks like this, so the breakout here was at 10, and it's gone to 18, which looks like a big move. But if this were to go from $1 to 180, is that really that extended? No. Stocks do that all the time. So if you can kind of change the price to give some perspective, then I think it's useful. But no real thought on it. Just noting that they're moving. I think LTBR was with it as well. Just noting that they're running, but waiting for more information. This one can keep running 10 to 15 to 18. If IONQ could keep going, 20, 22 blowout, then I'd be a lot more interested. I think so. DJT, I think a lot of people were looking to position this into the election. This is Trump media and him becoming president. I don't really see how it affects the company. So I think it's just a median for people to invest, so to speak, like join the momentum and the hype into him possibly becoming president. But I don't really see how it affects the company. So thesis with a bunch of longs was this thing running into the election. Same thing with fun, going with sympathy off of it because they ran back when it used to be DWAC. But if this is going to continue in this fashion, then it's definitely not going to hold up into November 5th. And I think it fails before that and becomes a sell the news event. So I will keep it on watch. Ideally, get another gap up blowout and look to join that trend. GNPX, keeping big picture in mind to see which way it wants to move. Under 180s or over 4. Fun, keeping this on watch, noting its relative weakness to DJT, where it had a much bigger red day and its bounce didn't continue higher, while DJT's up 27%. This one's only up 3%. So that one's notable. If DJT pulls back, this one likely pulls back more. LTBR with IONQ, ideally this one goes higher. 5, 10, go to 18 or 20. IBRX, ideally pops verse 6. This thing opens red, shoves verse 6, holds red, and look for a pullback to 5 or below. TVGN, I like this Wix versus the 240s, looking for that $3 breakout, looking left. SGMO was that 175 break. I ended up missing that one today, but it's gapping up a bit too much after hours. I don't think I would love a weak open at this point, but we'll just keep it on watch if it wants to keep extending itself. Mira, same kind of thing. Ideally keeps extending itself. Nice little multi-day run here, but only one sufficient day of volume, so ideally keeps pushing tomorrow. Get a good trade. And then this one's setting up for like a daily failed follow through off of $3. Look for prior day's lows as a trigger and join that trend for a possible swing trade short side. That'd be my list for tomorrow so far. I doubt I'm going to add any more. That's already plenty. Any crypto mining plays on watch besides Mara? Nope. I stem all my trade ideas from the daily chart, and I have no idea where this is going to go. Coin, Riot, Master, Mara. Master, the nicest one through 200, but not interested in that sector. I don't really trade the Bitcoin stuff very well typically. Well, I think that's about it for me. I don't really have too much else to touch on. I could sit here and read through my chat logs if I really wanted to, but I think that would bore everybody just watching me read. No problem, Base Hunter. Yeah, I think we can wrap it up there. I think that's good enough. And I'll sit down and read my stuff. All of Nate's commentary, Stan's commentary. Elkwood put some stuff in the Investors Underground room today talking about fun and DJT, so I'll check that out. But yeah, I think that's about it for me. As always, get in where you fit in, make some memories, and I'll see you guys in the room. Peace.